dedicated client extensions of the datasets and the roadmap at the end. So, what is a dataset? There have been a lot of spoilers today with the API builder, with Benny. We're working with datasets to visualize these GitHub interactions, also with Alex Sardin with the batch engine. And a dataset is just for that, to build applications. As Marco Leo said this morning, we are trying to build Liferay with Liferay. So this is a piece that will help us to do so. Dataset is a structured collection of data that can be used across multiple components and applications in Liferay. And it's a flexible and reusable way of retrieve data from any compatible headless API. As you've seen with the API builder, if you were here. Then, as an admin user, you can choose the content that you want to show to the end user, and also the tooling, meaning filters, actions, sorting options. And then, as an end user, in the front-end dataset, you will consume this information in different visualizations, and also you will be able to interact with the data, meaning using all the tooling that the administrator has set for you. And on top of that, you see down there that is done with Liferay objects, because we are also using Liferay to build Liferay. So, wait a minute. Anybody is used to the concept of object views? Maybe it is similar for you, because it's a way to visualize objects, but think of the object views as the POC of the datasets. So this concept is much more flexible and powerful, and lets you to work with any compatible API and not only with custom objects. So to see a little bit about the dataset and how it works, let's see this use case. Imagine that the UCI, the Union Cycliste Internationale, have contact Liferay to do some application to manage teams and riders. And the requirements are that they need different visualizations, they need item, meaning riders and teams, management and creation, different views with different users, public and internal site, filtering, sorting capabilities, and also to be extensible, meaning that they want to maybe create custom filters or a custom view. So this could be done with dataset, as we are going to see. So for this, we have modeled a very simple application with an object for team, another for rider, and they are connected by a relationship, team riders. And then you know that when you create an object, under the hood automatically is created an endpoint for it. So the endpoint is going to be the source of the dataset. And if you see the dataset manager, which is the administrator part, in the left, we have here that we are using the riders endpoint. And these are the maps that, as administrator, we have mapped to show to the end user. We are going to see it better. And this is the front-end dataset. So this is what the end user is going to see. We have two visualizations here, table and cards, and we are going to see in a demo now. So the updates. This is the last year roadmap. When I was preparing this presentation, I realized that we had these two slides. These screenshots are from the slides from the last year. And I realized that we said that we were going to work in things, and we did. And it's not so common, so kudos to us, to the product delivery team, to maintain the vision. And with that, all of that was more or less worked, maybe 80% or 90%. And the first thing is visualizations, because we had the table visualization, and now there is available also the cards and list visualization that we are going to see in here. So this is the table visualization for our riders UCI application. So you see that we have a lot of columns there. that are all the fields that are mapped in the dataset manager. And also we have two tabs in there at the top, list and cards. So if we map in here a field for this visual component that is the title, for example, the name of the rider, and we map also the description with the, or an image, sorry, is mapping there. And now we reload, we see a new button at the top, and we can change to the list visualization, just created but mapping some fields in the dataset manager. And we can do the same for the cards, mapping. These are visual components, so the cards have these 4 fields. If we want to do another kind of visualization, that would be client extensions, as we would see later. Mapping the theme for the description component and an image. And if we go back again, we see that we have the cards visualization and it's in there available for the end user already. So another update is actions. So we have 2 types of actions for now. The item actions that allows you to play with each row, which is rider. So you could be doing actions like edit rider, delete it, preview it. Anything that you can build in Liferay that has an URL can be linked from the dataset. So an action can be get you there. And then the creation actions that are for creating new riders, new items in the dataset. So let's see the item actions. A couple of examples here. We are here in the action tabs, and now we have 4 actions in there. If we go to the front-end dataset, we say see the 4 actions. In here, we have the first one to edit. We have a label, an icon. It's type link. We have the URL to go to the edit page, edit entry object, and we have these parameters that will be substituted. So we can put here fields between brackets, and the value will be interpolated in the front end. And at last, we have the headless action key that allows you to play with permissions. So only the right permission would see the action. In here, we are going to the form to edit a rider, and coming back is just an example to edit a rider. Another example could be deleting. This is an action type headless. We have a request body in case that you want to do a patch action, that you want to send some information in a JSON. And also the headless action key here is working with 2 missions. The permissions, only users with the delete permission will see the action, and also you select the delete headless action. So if we go here, Enric Mas, Spanish rider, not very attacking, so we delete it. We don't like it. It's not very of my fun. And just delete it. And we have a success message and also confirmation message that you can select on the dataset manager. And last, another simple example is about an action to navigate to Google, just to reinforce this parameter thing. So here, just we are searching for the name of the rider. So easy as creating a link for the item action. So creation actions. These are about to create new entries, new riders, in this case. In this case, we have 2 actions here created. It's the same action with the same URL, but with 2 flavors. So one is a link action with this URL to an object entry creation. And then also we have the same in a model. So if we execute it on the front end, we are going to see that it's the same. You load the form of the creation entry in here or in a link. If we use the link, now we are going to go back in that button, and that button is coming back to the page where the data set is located, because under the hood, we are sending a redirection parameter. So if the destination page understands this parameter, all the buttons, cancel, save,
make you go back to the dataset page. So, action key aspects. Just a summary of the actions, 5 types: link, modal, and side panel that needs an URL, and then headless and async action to play with the endpoint. Then the URL and the parameters in the URL, and the headless action key with the 2 missions, permissions, and select the headless action if you are working with the headless action. So let's see the filters. We have 3 types of filters. Selective filters, which is a list of values, like for example, a brand filter in a commerce website with all the brands. We have different ways to populate the values. Also the date filter, from date to date, is a date range filter, and the client extension filter that will be shown by Danny after in the demo. So with selection filter, how we populate values, how we put values in the list that the end user is going to consume. So 2 ways, API REST application or pig list. And we have another video to show it. In this video, we are creating filters from scratch. So if you go to the filters tab, create a filter, we are creating a filter by nationality. We select filter by nationality field, and then we choose object pig list, and we had a previous pig list created with all the nations, so you even can pre-select here a value of a nation, but we don't do it. And then when we reload here, we see that a new button appears with the filter nationality and all the values, so you can just select one and apply, and all the riders from Belgium are there. And the other type of the selection filter, the other type of selecting a source, is the API REST application. So it's creating a filter for team, selecting the team, and then choosing, as we have created 2 objects, we have the endpoint for the team already available, so we select the endpoint for the team, and item key, item label. The item key is going to be sent to the EO data in the request, and the item label is going to be shown in the UI. So we select which one we want, and here we have the response of the API with all the teams to pre-select values. We don't do it again. And in here, you are seeing that we have a new filter, and we can select a team and filter the riders. That's it about filters. Date range filters. We don't have video about this because it's a much simpler concept. It's just selecting a filter by field that is type date or date time. Then you can pre-select values as well. And the end user is going to see the from and to fields to be filled by him, so he can narrow the data with that aspect. And last, from the updates, the sorting options. So there you're seeing the dataset manager. We have several sorting options. You can add as many as you want, as long as the field as you are selecting is a sortable field. And then the end user is going to be all the sorting options. You can set a default option as well, and you can play with the order of the sorting options, and we'll change here. And now Danny is going to do the demo part. So let's change. All yours, Danny.
Thank you, Gerardo. Now I'm going to switch to some code. Basically, first of all, I would like to start because I'm not as funny as Alex, and I'm not as detailed as Gianmarco. So I'll do my best. I'll start with a quick overview of the architectural elements in the dataset system. Okay, so basically, some other people already spoiled this, but I'm going to show that basically the dataset manager, as you can see here, is basically based on objects, which means that if we go to the objects page, you'll see all the model we have implemented here. We have the dataset entity, we have the dataset actions, which store, well, actions. We have the dataset section for cards. We have the client extension filters, and so on, okay? That's the, let's say, first part of the architecture, the dataset manager that stores information in the objects. So I'm going to leave the dataset here, and now I'll move on to the place where the dataset is consumed by the end user. Okay, this is where the dataset is being administered, as Gerardo explained, and this is the place where the dataset is consumed by the end user. So this is another element of the architecture. We call it a dataset fragment, and you will see it already if you enable the beta filter flag about datasets. Okay, so this basically this fragment takes all the data of a given dataset and creates, socialize the object entries corresponding to the dataset into React properties to feed a React component called frontend dataset. And such component frontend dataset has client extensions because we cannot provide 100% of the things that you may want to have there. Okay, so right now I'm going to introduce 4 client extensions belonging to 2 different types. Okay, one type is FDS cell renderer, which allows to customize how a cell is rendered, and FDS filters. Okay, so we have been talking about client extensions all day long. Probably tomorrow we'll keep going with this. There's a wide variety of client extensions. A subtype of them would be the front-end client extensions. Okay, maybe you are familiar with the theme CSS client extension, or JS import maps client extensions, or maybe the Swiss knife of the client extensions in the front-end, which is the custom element client extensions. All of those have different contracts with the platform. Okay, they have different set of assumptions between the developer and the platform when you build them and when you deploy them. So here is the same. The FDS cell renderer has a specific contract, which I'll show in a minute, and the FDS filter is the same situation. I have the 4 of them already deployed. You will see them here in this tab. Okay, so we have 2 very nice client extensions: the nationality renderer, the distance renderer, the rider type filter, which filters by type of rider, and the FDS rank filter. Okay, so they have been already compiled, deployed. Here is the source code of them. So I'm going to go a little bit over the code to give you a brief overview of how it works. And then we will associate it to the different parts of the dataset so that we can see them in action. Okay, that's the idea. So basically, the cell render client extension, I try to document this in the file so that when I prepare the repo, if you are interested in, you can just take this and deploy them as well, okay? Using the same dataset Gerardo prepared, and you can see here live. Okay, so basically the FDS cell renderer defines a function which takes the value of the cell, okay? That's the contract. So it's not just that we inject a JavaScript and browser module, to be precise, but also that browser module has to have a particular shape, okay? And that shape is part of the contract. So the function takes the value and returns the HTML component. A very key point here is that the HTML component can be built using whichever technology you like. It's totally agnostic, okay? So basically the platform takes back the result of that function and injects the HTML in place, okay? So we are going to see here a very basic, let's say, plain DOM operations renderer. This is the distance renderer. So basically we create a function called weight renderer. Probably that's wrong because we wanted to show kilometers in this case. But we get the current language, and if the current language is English in the United States, we set the flag imperial to true, meaning that we are going to use either miles or kilometers to show the distance. And then we take the value we are given and translate it into miles in case we are in the imperial setting. Okay, and in the end, what we do is just set the inner HTML of this element with the value plus the unit. That's it. There's no more. It's a super simple clan extension, okay? So basically, we want to use it. We have it deployed. So we go to the dataset. We go to the rider dataset. And now in the visualization modes, we have a column which paradoxically, it takes the form of a row in this table, which is the total kilometers. So I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to tell that I want a different renderer rather than the default one, okay? So I will use the instance renderer to paint this cell. And at the same time, I'm not so happy with this nationality because, you know, the nationality right now is like a label. So basically, we want to render it using our brand new nationality clan extension, which I'll show you in a minute, but I'm going to configure it here now, okay? So once we have these two different renderers, before checking the result, I'm going to show you the nationality, okay? The nationality renderer is a little bit more complicated, just a little bit, okay? Basically here, we are using React to render the cell, and we are using Clay React components. These two decisions are mine as a developer. I could have chosen whatever I wanted, but there are good reasons to try this because both React and React DOM and all the Clay components are available in DXP as import maps, which means that you don't need to package them in your own clan extensions if you don't want to. That is why if we go to the Webpack config for this nationality render, you'll see that I set these 4 things as externals, which means I'm telling Webpack, I don't want you to package this. A little bit bigger? Okay, yeah, sure. Let me try a bigger zoom. Appearance. Zoom. I was happy enough with 150, but I'm going to put 175. Is that okay? Okay. So going back to the file itself, what we are doing here is basically telling that I don't want to package all those things. I want to take them from the import maps. And then I'm going to take an extra package I have here to get the country by name, because the value we get is the country. So I'm going to render a couple of things. Basically, the flag, which is called emoji here in this library, and I want to render the country in a 3-letter code. Okay, so if and that's it. And then, as you see here, I'm using a React DOM render into the element I'm going to return. Okay, so my responsibility as a nationality renderer function is to return a new element, in this case a div, with a React component rendered in it. That's the commitment I'm making as a clan extension. So stop talking, how it looks like. If we go to the Liferay page where we have the fragment, you'll see the nationality as a label and the total kilometer without units. Because now I'm in the US setting, if I re-render this thing, I will see the nationality with the flag and the 3 letters code that my clan extension implements. Of course, clan extension is loaded once. It's a dynamic import. That's how it works. And then we have the total kilometers transformed to miles. So if I change the locale here, and I set, for example, my native language, which is Spanish, we can see that everything is the same, but the total kilometers are back to, let's say, international system units. So that's a simple usage you can have to illustrate how these things work. Okay, so let me check. I don't have much time. So with the filters, I'm going to be a little bit faster. I'm going to create, I already created the filters. So I'm going to move on and create the filters.
We are a little bit ahead of schedule. We have 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. Okay, I saw 3 here. So.
Unfortunately, we started a little bit early. And
Okay, so I will check that other one. Okay. Thanks a lot, Wes.
So no,
okay,
you're getting a long explanation from Danny now.
No. I'm the guy between you and the beers or the city, so I know you want to go Don't worry. So I'm in the riders data set. Now I'm going to create filters. In the videos Gerardo prepared, you saw how we could create different types of filters, selection and date. Now I'm going to create clan extension filters, okay? So basically here, I'm going to render by type of cyclist, and I'm going to use the weight property to filter out cyclists, riders in this case, and I'm going to use my rider type filter. Okay, and now I'm going also to create, oh, and I don't want it here because it's too low in the hierarchy, you know, I'm very proud of it, so I'm going to put it the first, okay? Because you can drag and drop in the data set, and you can reorder the stuff as you want. And I'm going to create a second one. In this case, I'm going to filter by UCI ranking property, which is over here. And I'm going to use a rank filter. I will show you how they look like and how they behave. And I need to provide by rank, for example, okay, rank. And then I save this thing, and now I have two new filters. I want this also to be close to the other. Okay, so if I go here, now I have two new filters. I'm going to switch to English, although I have to show you how we can even translate some labels here, but that will happen later on, okay, if we have time. So basically, this is the UI, and...
Is it still in Spanish?
Oh, is it still? Yeah. I did something wrong then.
Didn't take it.
Okay. So now you see here by type and by rank. So let's go to the code first. Or maybe we can do it the other way around. Let's go first by type of rider. Here we define three types of riders depending on the weight. Basically, we have the all-rounders. We have an intermediate range of weights. We have the climbers, which have a lower weight. And we have the sprinters who have a higher weight. So basically, here we are rendering by weight. But rather than providing an input for the values, we are providing predefined categories with some icons. So when I click on some of them, then I will be filtering. In this case, all rounders have a top level on 75 kilos. If we go to the climbers, they will be a little bit slimmer, I would say. And the sprinters are the highest, okay? And I can also clear filter, and then I can close it as well. And I have this here applied. As you can see here, this is filtered by everyone, but I can switch again, filter by our all-rounders. So let's check the code, okay? What do we have here? This is the number 3. So basically, we have 3 functions. Our FDS filter clan extension must define and export 3 functions. You can see there, you can see it in the end of the file where we are exporting a description, HTML element, and OData query builder. Okay, each one of these 3 functions have specific roles. The description builder is creating this text, all rounders, or whatever you want. Okay. In the other filter, you will see I'm creating a range of UCI points. So let's see how this looks like. This function is defined. Let me see. It's defined here, and basically because I have created an enum, this is the type that represents my filter state. So basically this is a JavaScript enum, a TypeScript enum with 4 values, and then this is the piece of data that my filter changed with the platform. Okay, this is part of the contract, but I, as a developer, define the type of this filter. So basically, I have the descriptions here, and what I do is also I take this to define the images that you saw, and I import them as part of the clan extension. So when I'm asked to provide a description for the filter, I just give the description array, which is basically these things. Also, we have another function called HTML element builder that you may figure it out, that provides the UI of the filter. Okay, so in this case, this is a React component, that must take different things. I mean, FDS is going to call me with these three things. The field name, which this filter is being applied to. In this case, we are filtering by weight. Then there's the filter object, which contains the current selected information, and the set filter that it's a callback that I can use to set the new data I'm filtering by. Okay, so in the UI, basically, I'm using Clay. I render a filter, and this filter is here. Basically, let me check if I can give a brief explanation of it. I'm using Clay form, and here, for each one of the different rider types, as you can see here, I render in a button. The button is primary, is if current selection is my type. This is why they look like push buttons, okay? And then I define the key to make a distinction between the three buttons, and then the on-click handler, which basically sets the selection if it's different than the current one. If it's the same, it basically selects known, so that the push button becomes a secondary, okay? So the set selection handler is in charge of change the filter. The set filter function I'm given is going to talk to the FDS and say, hey, there's a new selection here, please handle it. So basically what I'm saying here is that the selected data is now the new selection that has been set in this state variable. So I'm keeping my internal state so that I can render it. Okay, so this is how it looks like in the end. Oh, there's a third function, which is the OData expression. Okay, the OData expression is the OData query builder. So basically what I'm doing here is, if my current selected data is Climber, then the expression I want to pass to the filter, the OData expression, is my field less than 68 kilos. If I am an all-rounder, between 68 and 75, and if I am a sprinter, above 75. So as you can see, when I render this thing, I need three things. I need the filter UI, I need a way to describe the filter. As you can see here, the type changes because platform, FDS in this case, calls me, what's your description for this selection? That's the question it's asking me. And of course, the data changes, okay? And I don't have a lot of time here, so I think I will go really quick to the range. The filter range basically works like this. This filter, by rank, have a minimum and a maximum slider that allows me to select a range in the UCI ranking. So if I apply the filter, then I get the cyclist riders inside this range, okay? I also added a range selection, so if I uncheck this, I'm selecting a fixed number, okay? So minimum and maximum are locked. So I apply it, and then I get the number I want. This is just to explain the type of things you can do with React in a very easy setting, okay? I'll leave you guys, if you are curious, to check how I did the translation of these labels reusing the Liferay translation system. So basically here, if I switch the language and I reapply the filter, I can do basically, you can see aplicar, which is apply, range selection, selección de rango, mínimo, máximo, which is minimum and maximum, respectively. These translations have been gotten from a brand new headless API that delivers translations, which has to be activated by a feature flag, of course. So if you are curious about this code, please let's talk later on, okay? Because I'm running out of time. I don't want to show you more details. So I will go to the next things, the future. The future, this roadmap discussion about the things we want to present. The first item we want to present is the system datasets, okay? System datasets.
You can switch to the...
I can switch, but I would like to show how it works in a minute, okay?
Okay.
So basically, this dataset is rendered through object entries, but we have in the portal about 150 datasets that are implemented in Java, okay? So there is an example, Gianmarco showed it already, which is the product dataset. It's like this. You can see it. I'm going to reload this page so that you can see it. Okay? So I'm in a branch, and I'm in the right branch in this case, that will show how we can, this is a new brand, so basically nobody has this brand. Here, usually you get access to the new data set. But in this branch, you can customize a system data set. In this case, I'm going to showcase how to customize the product definitions data set. So in a matter of milliseconds, we get an editable copy of the product definition system data set, which I can edit. So basically, what I'm going to do is to remove a column I don't like, which is the catalog. I don't want this. So I'm going to remove this one. And because I want different ways of visualize the data, I'm going to create a card visualization mode with the product name as the title. Where are you? Name is here. And in the image, I'm going to use the product thumbnail. By the way, I can showcase how search works. Thumbnail, so we can select the field and save. So by just doing this, if we go here in the products and reload the page, we have done nothing. We haven't changed the page. It's the same page, okay? So now we have a card visualization mode. If we switch to table, we will see that there's no channel anymore, okay? That's the idea of system datasets. This is a POC. We are working to add it to the product properly, okay? So please don't expect it right away. Wait a little bit. So now we can go back to the presentation to discuss about other items that we plan to work on. Okay, so Gerardo, all yours.
So we just presented the system dataset. This is just a mock-up of our design to create new system datasets. And then other things that are coming are bulk actions. As we saw, there were creation actions and item actions, and these are to action on multiple items at the same time. Also, we will be working in custom views. Imagine that you are seeing that view about the products and you filter something, sorting something, you hide some column, and then you want to save that view as an end user for later or to share it. That's custom views. Also, we will be working in filter capabilities, expanding the source. We have pick list and API REST application, but we will try to incorporate vocabularies, for example, categories. And last, we will be working also in client extensions. We have 3 visualizations now, but we want to provide a client extension so you are in control of the visualization. So if you want to do a gallery or a Tinder view that you move things left and right, you could do with that. And last to say that this is in beta, but we are confident to go in release in the first quarter of 2025. And with that, thank you very much for being the last ones in the